If you are a reader that enjoys realistic fiction, and if you've enjoyed learning about the immigrant experience in the late 1800s, early 1900s, Letters from Rifka is the book for you. Rifka knows nothing about America when she flees from Russia with her family in 1919. But she dreams she will at least be safe from the Russian soldiers and their harsh treatment of the Jews in the new country. Ooh, I hear a push factor there. Throughout her journey, Rivka carries with her a cherished volume of poetry by Alexander Pushkin. In it, she records her observations and experiences in the form of letters to her beloved cousin she has left behind. Strong-hearted and determined, Rivka must endure a great deal. Humiliating examinations by doctors and soldiers, deadly typhus, separation from all she has ever known and loved, murderous storms at sea, and as if that's not enough, the loss of her glorious golden hair. And even if she does make it to America, she's not sure America will have her. So what's really neat about how this story is organized is that it is in true letter form, but on top of each letter is a little excerpt or a bit from the poet Alexander Pushkin. So it's going to start with that. And from the gloomy land of lonely exile to a new country bade me come. Ooh, that is a perfect quote for push-pull factors. September 2nd, 1919, Russia. My dear cousin Tuva, we made it. If it had not been for your father, though, I think my family would all be dead now. Mama, Papa, Nathan, Saul, and me. At the very best, we would be in that filthy prison in Berdichev, not rolling west through Ukraine on a freight train bound for Poland. I'm sure you and Cousin Hannah were glad to see Uncle Evram come home today. How worried his daughters must have been after the locked doors and whisperings of last night. Soon, Bubbe Ruth, my dear little grandmother, will hear of our escape. I hope she gives a big pot of Freshlight cream to Uncle Avram. How better could she thank him? When the sun rose above the trees at the train station in Berdichev this morning, I stood alone outside a boxcar, my heart knocking against my ribs. I stood there trying to look older than my 12 years, wrapped in the new shawl Cousin Hannah gave to me. Still, I trembled. Wear this in health, Hannah had whispered in my ears as she draped the shawl over my shoulders. Before we slipped from your house into the dark. Come, Papa said, leading us through the woods to the train station. I looked back to the flickering lights of your house, Tuva. Quickly, Rivka, Papa whispered. The boys and Mama, I must hide before light. You can distract the guards, can't you, little sister? Nathan said, putting an arm around me. In the darkness, I could not see his eyes, but I felt them studying me. Yes, I answered, not wanting to disappoint him. At the train station, Papa and Mama hid behind bales of hay and boxcars to my right. My two giant brothers, Nathan and Saul, crouched in separate cars to my left. Papa said that we should hide in different cars. If the guards discovered only one of us, perhaps the others might still escape. Behind me, in the dusty corner of a boxcar, sat my own rucksack. It waited for me, holding what little I own in the world. I'd packed Mama's candlesticks, wrapped in my two heavy dresses at the bottom of the sack. Your gift to me, the book of Pushkin, I did not pack. I kept it out, holding it in my hands. I would have liked to fly away, to race back up the road, stopping at every door to say goodbye, to say that we were going to America. But I could not. Papa said we must tell no one we are leaving, not even Bubbe Ruth. Only you and Hannah and Uncle Avram knew. I'm so glad at least you knew, Tuva. As Papa expected, not long after he and Mama and the boys had hidden themselves, two guards emerged from a wooden shelter. They thundered down the platform in their heavy boots, climbing in and out of the cars, making their search. They did not notice me at first. Saul says I'm too little for anyone to notice, but you know Saul. He never has a nice word to say to me. And I am small for a girl of 12. Still, my size did not keep the guards from noticing me. I think the guards missed seeing me at first because they were so busy in their search of the train. They were searching for Nathan. You know as well as I, Tova, that when a Jewish boy deserts the Russian army, the army tries hard to find him. They bring him back and kill him in front of his regiment as a warning to the others. Those who have helped him, they also die. Late last night, when Nathan slipped away from his regiment and appeared at our door, joy filled my heart at seeing my favorite brother again. Yet a troubled look worried Nathan's face. He hugged me only for a moment. His dimpled smile vanished as quickly as it came. I've come, he said, to warn Saul. The soldiers will soon follow. They will take him into the army. I am ashamed, Tuva, to admit that at first hearing Nathan's news made me glad. I wanted Saul gone. He drives me crazy. From his big ears to his big feet, I cannot stand the sight of him. Good riddance, I thought. How foolish I was not to understand what Nathan's news really meant to our family. You should not have come, Mama said to Nathan. They will shoot you when you return. Papa said, Nathan isn't going to return. Hurry, we must pack. We all stared at him. Quickly, Papa said, clapping his hands. Rifka, run and fill your rucksack with all of your belongings. I do not know what Papa thought I owned. Mama said, Rifka, do you have room in your bag for my candlesticks? The candlesticks, Mama? I asked. We either take them, Rifka, or we leave them to the greedy peasants. Soon enough they will swoop down like vultures to pick our house bare, Mama said. Papa said, Your brothers in America have sent for us, Rifka. It is time to leave Russia, and we are not coming back ever. Don't we need papers, I asked. Papa looked from Nathan to Saul. There is no time for papers, he said. Then I began to understand. We huddled in your cellar through the black night, planning our escape. Uncle Avram only shut you out to protect you, Tuva. Hearing the guards speak this morning, I understood this precaution. It was dangerous enough for you to know we were leaving. We could not risk telling you the details of our escape in case the soldiers came to question you. The guards were talking about Nathan. They were saying what they would do to him once they found him, and what they would do to anyone who had helped him. Nathan hid under a sack of burlap bags, one boxcar away from me. I knew no matter how frightened I was, I must not let them find Nathan. The guards said terrible things about our family. They did not know me or Mama or Papa. They did not even know Nathan, not really. They could never have said those things about my brother Nathan if they knew him. Saul, maybe. Clumsy-footed Saul. They could have said hateful things about Saul, but never Nathan. The guards spoke ill of us, not because of anything we had done, not because of anything we had said, just because we were Jews. Why is it, Tova, that in Russia, no matter what the trouble, the blame always falls upon the Jews? The guards' bayonets plunged into bales and bags and crates in each boxcar. This is how they searched, with the brutal blades of their bayonets. The sound of steel and wood echoed through the mornings. I stood trembling in the dawn, Tova, gripping your book in my hand to steady myself. I feared the guards would guess from one look at me what I was hiding. For just a moment, I glanced towards the car where Mama and Papa hid, to gather courage from them. My movement must have caught the guards' attention. You! I heard a voice shout. You there! The guards hastened down the track toward me. One had a rough, unshaven face and a broad mouth. He stared at me for a moment or two, as if he recognized me. Then he seemed to change his mind. He reached out to touch my hair. This is what Papa hoped for, I think. People have often stopped in wonder at my blonde curls. You say a girl must not depend on her looks, Tova? It is better to be clever. But as the guards inspected me, from the worn toes of my boots to my hair spilling out from under my kerchief, I hoped my looks would be enough. I hated the guard touching my hair. I clutched your book of poetry tired to keep my hands from striking him away. I knew I must not anger him. If I angered him, I not only put my life in danger, I'd endanger Mama and Papa and Nathan and Saul too. The guard with the unshaven face held my curls in his hands. He looked up and down the length of me as if he were, and I held still. Inside, I twisted like a wrung rag, but on the outside, I held still. Papa is so brave. The guards would not frighten him. I remember the time soldiers came to our house and saw on Papa's feet a new pair of boots. Uncle Shalom had made them for Papa from leftover pieces of leather. The soldiers said, "Take the boots off. Give them here." Papa refused. The soldiers whipped Papa, but still Papa refused to hand over his boots. They would have killed Papa for those boots, but their battalion marched into sight. The soldiers hit Papa once more hard so that he spit blood, but they left our house empty-handed. That was the courage of my Papa, but how could he ever think I had such courage? Courage or not, of all my family, only I could stand before the Russian soldiers because of my blonde hair and my blue eyes. Papa, Mama, and the boys, they all have the dark coloring and features of Jews. Only I can pass for a Russian peasant. And of course, as you know, Tova, of all my family, only I speak Russian without a Yiddish accent. Uncle Avram called it my gift for language. What kind of gift is this, Tova? Okay, so far, there's a lot of excitement happening in this first chapter. And I'm curious to know what happens to Rifka and her family if they're able to get out of Russia and how they do that. So if you enjoy the learning about the immigrant experience, if you enjoy realistic fiction and historical fiction, this book might be the book for you.